Hey, how you doing? It's your typical infrared screen grab, that object you were just looking at. And this is what happens when you just smash down on the button of the camera with a telephoto lens and you don't set the timer first. Now that was right there in the same exact spot that the infrared video was of. But something you want to notice about this is there's no discernible light anywhere, one single light. And were the landing light of an airplane, you would have a green light here and a red one over here, tail light up here, and a belly light down there. But there just isn't any of that going on. You know what I'm saying? Let's check this thing out here a little bit better. Something I find interesting about this is there's some lights down here at the bottom on this hill in a distance here. This is about, I don't know, 4 or 5 miles away. And you can see halogen lamps for a barn, somebody's house in the distance there. And look how much brighter that object is than those lights down there in the bottom, that far away. So now it's kind of going sideways to the camera. So that light shouldn't be as bright as it is right now if it was a landing light on an airplane, because it would be sideways to the camera. So if that's not a landing light, what in the world is it? I mean, it's staying on consistently. And it doesn't look like it's strobing at all. It looks more like it's pulsating in some kind of way. You know what I mean? Now what happens here is I've got a curtain across here to keep out light close up to prevent lens flare. And this thing starts getting into that area where I couldn't see it. So I'll pick the camera up and move it. But I'll show you a couple photographs I took while it was going across that area there. Yeah, I know. Blurry picture. What are you going to do? That's 4 seconds right there. And that's a close-up of it. I mean, what part of this is in focus and what part of it's out of focus? That should be a red light only if that was a wingtip, because that's going from the right to the left. And that doesn't resemble a red wingtip light to me. So, you know, the question with me is, what is this? I mean, that's capable of, you know, defying gravity, basically. It's got no visible means of propulsion. It's got no means of support, like, you know, wings, for instance. And yet it is able to just fly along and navigate. I mean, what's it using for propulsion? So, you know, I admit some of the images are not all that great, but, you know, what are you going to do? You can't see this thing when you're not looking through the lens of the camera. And what I find interesting here is how it started brightening up on its strobing when this other craft comes by from the left. So I'm wondering, you know, is that just a regular airplane flying by? And this thing's capable of picking up on the magnetic field that's being generated by the electrical components of the engine and, you know, radio system? Or was it another one of whatever that thing is? It'd be nice if they just pull up and hold still for a minute. Let me get a good image of them. But they're just out there doing their own thing. Like I said, that thing's got to be rather large or putting off an extremely powerful energy field, of plasma or something to be able to be seen from that distance, that bright. So here is another blurry image that I took while it was after I just moved the camera there. But what I wanted to show you this for partly was, like I said, there should be a red wingtip light on this side and a green one on that side, a tail light and a belly light, red in nature, and there's nothing there that resembles that at all color wise, and the camera is obviously able to pick up red light. That's I think that's a water tower or something there in the distance. So the camera's clearly picking up the right colors, and there's just nothing like that on this image right here. I mean, what part of this is in focus and what part of it is out of focus. I think these things are made out of a membrane or a metamaterial on the outside, and something on the inside is pulsing and generating such a powerful, magnetic field that it's able to go into anti-gravitic mode, and it may be able to just phase out to the point to where, I mean, what would you focus on? How do you focus on plasma, for goodness sakes? You know what I mean? I think this is a clear membrane, like I said, and there's something in the inside that's generating plasma or a high, energy field of some kind. Now, let me show you a little bit of this object in color video here. I mean, clearly that's not an airplane. That's my point. And if anybody can tell me what it is, I'd appreciate it. That's a fixed focus on the camera there. It's not, autofocus. It's a fixed focus. So what you see is what you get. And that right there is a screen grab from that video. And then I shut the camera off to take some pictures. And obviously it's a solid object of some kind, and that's a rather neutral color, which you wouldn't find on an airplane. And it's going from red to neutral to green to whatever that is. So, like I said, I'm doing the best I can here with the photography end of it. I just don't know what these are, and that's kind of my goal here, is to figure out what these things are and, what makes them tick. So, anyway, be sure and stay safe out there. Take care. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it.